morning, everybody. Not good evening, but good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner 2018, Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and that's also now in 2024. We started in 2022 and 2021. Now we are going onward and upward. And I have a big apologize to make. For those who follow me, I set this for 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. But everyone's here, so you know it's a 9 a.m. thing. So I'm human. I made a mistake in 2024. Jeez, I'm not perfect. My gosh. So just want to say good morning to everybody here. And what's going on, Ryan Knight? Happy 2024.
Yes,
You're on mute.
Happy
Oh,
New
there we
Year.
go.
For those, it's probably just a delay. Let me know if my internet's acting up.
Okay.
Yes, but thank you, Vibe. Happy New Year. And for those that don't know who I am or just catching up, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage your business is in and then help you create a strategy to grow your company exponentially. I am an entrepreneur myself. I do run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses, their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And yes, glad to be with you in this new year, brother.
Looking forward to working with you, working through you for us to help elevate, educate, entertain, and empower Blacks and those who love them. Just want to say good morning to Fitness IQ Cam. Morning. Also says Happy New Year. We'll forgive ye fee for that. Forgive you for now. That's all right, no problem. And she was giving major licks to me yesterday. She was helping with some stuff with me in regards to QuickBooks, and she left my head in knots, but we worked it out. So thank you, Fitness IQ Cam, otherwise known as KSFEYL Good stuff. Hey, we also have another special. We have an Caribbean Vibrations TV. Great intro. Alan, what is up? Happy 2024. Happy and healthy 2024 to
20
you,
years,
the
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. Alan, we need to get you on here. So I'm going to message you after we finish the show today to see if you have some time to come on, because we need to celebrate you and what all the stuff you've done for Black media in Canada. Also, Shirla, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Frequency Event Promotions, good day about that. Happy New Year 2024. Frequency Event Promotions has a event coming up this month, I believe, a live podcast. I think it's called the I Am an Entrepreneur podcast. I believe that he's doing it live. Fitness IQ says, hey. Fitness IQ Cam says, hello, everyone. Good morning. And how have your holidays been, Ryan?
I would say definitely relaxing, taking time to reboot and decompress. So Christmas was good, got to have some good food. And then the New Year's, definitely a homebody. So usually my wife, because she's a nurse, it's either she has to work Christmas or she has to work New Year's. So this time she worked Christmas and was off New Year's. So being able to be home and just bring in the new year, and the kids, they stayed up. They're getting good at staying up till midnight. So after a break, we have to get it back to waking up early.
Yes. So that's a good segue for Monday's show, because this Monday, she's back in the new year. And you know what? We've got Monday coming up on Monday's show. Carolyn Nicole, Energy Shot Juice Bar, is going to be talking about the detox that rocks. Learn how to detox from your own home to reset your system, cleanse your liver, and shed any unnecessary weight. So detoxing from home. Because I know lots of people make their resolutions like, I want to lose weight, this and that. tune into Monday's show. You'll get some great tips on how to do it. And I'm actually planning to do a detox this month. One of my things this year, and I don't make resolutions, just make at least do one, two, or three detox every month. So getting ready to do that. So Carolyn will be talking about that and other things on Monday. Let's see. So go ahead.
I was curious, what do you usually do for New Year's? How did it
I stay
ring?
quiet. Actually,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that because many people I spoke with this year said they weren't going out.
Right. And
They
then
weren't
they
going
didn't
out.
get caught up in the melee at Union Station, or I guess all the TTC subways.
I didn't hear about that. Talk to me.
Well, just that it was ram packed. So they're showing video of it. Looked like, remember when the Raptors won the 2019
Yeah.
playoffs? That's what Union Station looked like. So people trying to get on the
Wow.
subways. It was intense. Yes.
It's the first time I've heard that at all. Really crazy. Let's other people chime me in today. Frequency Report says Happy New Year's Caribbean Vibration TV. Yeah, Alan, definitely. You were on my alleged mind over the holiday season because I hadn't reached out to you for a little bit. So definitely. The Macmillan Group. Good morning, conducive to everyone to
Thank you.
2024 and beyond. Yes, and we're going to have you on a few weeks. And also, I'll mention it on Monday. Ray's son Stefan is doing a live conversation coming up next week, so we'll be promoting that on Monday. So we're going to make sure that happens. Naomi on the LinkedIn says, "Good morning, Dr. Vibe Ryan. Happy New Year. Excited to hear what you have for us today." Good. Well, we're excited when this gentleman's on who's coming up. Happy New Year, sir. Real Estate Macmillan. Shirley says, "Hi, Ryan. I'm still waiting for your even about marketing support for our company." There.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm not going to go there. So just a few things before we have Wayne Harris come on. Some interesting news stories. Well, I don't go on it a lot or maybe enough. I found out via LinkedIn this morning. Dwayne Morgan. Did you hear?
Appointed.
Order of Ontario.
Right.
Order of Ontario. So huge congratulations. I guess I just had him on recently, but it'd be good to have him on again. I have to reach out to Sasha, his PR
Right.
person, to see if we can get him on in regards to the Order of Ontario. So huge congratulations! And I was doing a reading over the holiday season. Was it in the last year? He said he's been to over 5 African countries in the last year.
Wow. That's amazing. And someone else, I believe Debbie Douglas, also was appointed to the Order
I
of
have.
Canada.
Who's Debbie Douglas?
She runs, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget the acronym, but they do work with immigration and employment training. So they've been very active with the refugee crisis right now. And
Okay.
yeah, Ontario Council, I think, of Immigration Services organizations.
Okay. We got some
I
other things.
believe, I
Go
think
ahead.
she's Terry Douglas's sister or related because
Yes,
she
yes.
posted about her.
You are right. You are
Yeah.
right because I saw a post from Perry and Hail Up Perry. I don't know if I had sent him because I had a long list of people I wanted to send greetings to for the new year too. And I know Perry was on. I don't know if I sent it or not, but so yeah, I got to reach out to Perry because we haven't had him on for a bit, and I'd like to get his vision of what he's thinking about the new year. Also, I saw this again. I had a little Paulette Senior. I believe I saw a post. She has been appointed to the Senate.
Oh wow. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I saw a post on that, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Again, I was on my LinkedIn feed a little bit over the holiday season, and I saw a post by Marcy Ian saying, congratulations to Paulette Senior, who's now going to be a member of the Government of Canada Senate.
Wow. Congrats.
So all those things going on. Also, I don't know if people have watched it, but the big rage on Black digital platforms is this conversation between Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams. Has anyone seen that conversation?
This I missed. What is going on?
Oh, it was for about 2.5 hours on his Club Shay Say show, and he went in
Yeah.
on a whole pile of comedians. No one was left. Like everyone from Cedric the Entertainer to he went in. Yeah. As Wayne
Whoa.
was saying, yeah, Cat was spilling the tea. He went in. And probably by now it was released 2 days ago. It has
Mhm.
over 10 million views
What is this? That is
on
wild.
YouTube. 10 million views. So I watched most of it. I'll be getting into it a little bit more tomorrow night on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Yeah, it's so as yeah. Oh, we're up to date. Fitness IQ. It's now 13 million views.
Holy moly. And he's been quite vocal just in like kind of in spark or in sporadic,
Yeah, can't
interviews and
watch
stuff
two and a half
for two
hours.
hours.
He says, I
That's
haven't watched all of it. Yeah. Imagine Bacchanal is heavily. Well, you see, now you're reading my alleged mind fitness come. We can get people can watch 13 million views of that video, but I think a good segue. If there's a video about financial empowerment, can we get 1,300 people to look at it?
right. Yes, yes.
So I think it's a good segue to what we're, and yeah, but other topics, yeah, we're sleeping. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's a good segue here that we're going to have Wayne Harris for his first appearance in the new year on our stage. Good morning, Mr. Harris. Happy 2024, my brother.
Good morning and happy new year, Dr. Vibe and Ryan. How are you guys?
Always outstanding when you're in my presence. I can't speak and won't speak for Ryan. How is the holiday season treating you?
It was pretty good. I went down to Baltimore, check my sister.
Oh, be more.
I was
Okay.
hanging out in the US. Let me tell you, there's a lot of room in those malls, and we'll talk about that today.
Hey, Dave Chappelle was dissing up Baltimore. I don't know if you saw his new special.
No,
He was going, I mean, in fun, but yeah, he was talking about Baltimore.
Baltimore's an interesting place. I can tell
Yeah.
you. You see all the demographics within a 4 or 5 block radius. You can go from very, very wealthy to very, very unwealthy.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, yes.
Depending on which traffic light you're at.
Yeah. That and it's funny. I know a number of people who are from or live in Baltimore. I guess the big thing right now in Baltimore is their Ravens, their NFL football team, is kicking butt right now with Lamar Jackson. But yeah, I've heard it's a very extreme city. There's some extreme wealth, but there's some real extreme poverty in that city.
Exactly. And one of the things we did while we were down there is we took a drive over to Washington, D.C. and went to the African American Museum.
Yes.
Of history.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, pretty well done. Pretty well done. I went to the one in Detroit a number of years ago, and that was well done. But this one is next level. They put some work in, and it takes you through the. It kind of starts at just a little bit before slavery and brings you all the way up to modern day. So you're going to see Harriet Tubman. You're going to see Frederick Douglass. You're going to see what Abraham Lincoln did. You're going to see the advent of the Klan. You're going to see Public Enemy. You're going to see Janelle Monáe. You're going to see Parliament Funkadelic. It's very, very interesting how they have the different eras. And as you move through the building, you move into modern history. And I was in one of the rooms, and they were talking about 1965, and there was a teenager in front of me, and I said, "This happened. This right here. You see with the dogs and all that? Yeah, that was a year before I was born."
Wow.
Just to bring context to what was going on. And I said, when King died, I was 2 years old. Just adding context and letting them know the history is not as ancient as they would think. But I was pleasantly surprised by the aesthetic of the building. And then I went into the gift shop, and it was very interesting to see the books that they had about Black history and the Black experience. And I was only looking for one author, one. Well, two. I was looking for Dennis Kimbrough, and I was looking for Dr. Claude Anderson.
Yeah.
And neither were there.
That tells you something.
That's wild.
That, and it's actually even more interesting that Howard University, one of the beacons of Black education in America, Black America especially, has never invited Dr. Claude Anderson to speak at their institution.
Yeah, that's telling, and that's what I was really looking for. So, okay, thank you for the last 400 years of history. Appreciate that. Not a lot of context about the history before that. Understood. But let's go to the bookstore and see what you're trying to do. And there were a number of children's books and cartoons and coloring books and different things about the experience in history and playing cards for historical reference. All great stuff. And then I said, okay, show me the section.
Economics.
Group, economics, and business. And it was just mere crickets and lint and dust, baby. Nothing.
So I want to ask.
So nothing even like with Dr. Amos Wilson.
Which one was that?
Dr. Amos Wilson that wrote the blueprint for Black Power.
Nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
Some T-shirts on the Black Panther Party, which they did a decent job of. Some notes on the Haitian Revolution in 1803, 1804, which was good. And they actually put down on the marquee that Napoleon was fighting 2 wars on 2 fronts and chose to fight on the Haitian front because it was the most valuable plantation in the world at the time. And he gave up all of Louisiana and all of that Louisiana tract in order to try to maintain Haiti and couldn't do it. It's significant. And it had its marquee, but I was talking to a couple from California that were originally born in Iran. And we're talking about Persian. I told them I was from Toronto and the Persian experience in Toronto. And they say, yeah, Persians are very racist, very racist. And we were talking, and then another guy who was Middle Eastern, and it was so interesting to see older Caucasian people there because it took everything in me to say, hey, you were around during these times. Which side were you on? Right? Because they were there. They're 20 years older than me. So they were there for Jim Crow. They saw it. They benefited from it. They might have been in the North. They might have been in the South because Washington, D.C. is technically in the South because it's south of the Mason-Dixie line, which separates North from South. Talk to me about what your grandfather and grandmother experienced. And there were a lot of videos there from the Smithsonian about, a lot of the Eyes on the Prize stuff that we saw from back in the day. They had different stations where you could sit down and watch the video and see what you had just walked through, see it live. So it was very, very good. It's something that I would fill a bus up with people and head down there and spend a weekend at a hotel and go eat in those traditional places that are Black owned in Washington, D.C., and then come back. That might be something that I would love to organize with someone and just do that road trip. I think the 100-strong boys would benefit from that trip more so than anybody, and young girls would benefit from that as well because you saw the struggle of the men, the women. The LGBTQ community was also well represented during the civil rights movement, with a number of people mentioned there as well. So the co-opting of the struggle, so to speak, by LGBTQ, it's not really a co-option. They were front and center on the struggle, which is something that I learned while I was there.
It's interesting, Wayne, and I want to get both of yours input on this, and we'll go for a quick break before Wayne goes in. Is that I know, Ryan, once in a while you talk about we're supposed to have in Canada, allegedly, the government provide funding for this type of structure in Canada. like a museum, a heritage museum. Do both of you feel that Canada should have a place like that in our country, heritage Canadian or Black Canadian Heritage Museum? Yes or no?
1,000%. There should be at least 4. One should be in Chatham, Ontario, at the end of the Underground Railroad, and that should be a monster, massive, because it has very historical significance. Toronto should also have one because of the critical mass of Blacks in Toronto. Elliott Lake, Owen Sound could also have one because that's also a pioneer area for Blacks. And then definitely North Preston, Nova Scotia should have one. If not, Halifax proper should have one because there are people. I'm working now with a young lady. She has a family name that goes back 11 generations.
Wow.
She's blackity black. She's been in Canada before many of these people. And no, you look at her, you would think she just came up from a Soca Fed in Trinidad. No, she's been here 11 generations.
Soca Fed, maybe Fitness IQ knows.
Right.
Okay, that's amazing. Ryan, do you want to add? I know you bring this subject up periodically. Anything you want to add to what Wayne has just shared?
Well, it's interesting when the conversation does come up and funding has been put aside for something similar, one called like the Canadian Institute for People of African Descent. That was part of the UN Decade for People of African Descent that the Canadian government was putting funding towards. And the RFP went out. Nothing has been selected. And technically, in the agreement, it said that it's supposed to end March 2024. So it looks like we might have missed that window for funding to actually put this institute together. And I remember talking with Tanya Williams from Real World Institute and Real World Film Festival, and she said, where do we house the achievements of the Black community? Like a lot of stuff that has been happening, and we were just talking about people appointed to the Order of Canada. There's nowhere really to house that so that other generations can see it. And as Wayne was talking about all those different pockets of immense history in Canada, that is really going to be lost. Like there's nowhere to really house it. I mean, there's smaller museums that I've seen even in Windsor, and I believe Tottenham. There's somewhere close to Windsor where there's like a small museum inside the mayor's office, but on a grand scale, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And there definitely
Rosemary Sadler and Ebony's sister have a lot of artifacts. What's her?
Yeah.
Kathy
Grant.
Kathy Grant and Rosemary Sadler have a lot of the archives, especially from Montreal with the Negro Community Center, which was demolished less than 10 years ago. It was up for sale for about $350,000. And this was the Mecca for all Blacks coming into Montreal. You would go there and they would set you up. Hey, here's where you can live. Here's some clothes. Here's a job. Here's what's available to you. Community hub in the truest sense of the words. Over 100 years old and gone. Going to be condos now, destroyed. It was a historically designated building, and they still allowed a developer to come in and tear it down. This is a building built of stone that was a hub for the Little Burgundy, which is basically the Harlem of Canada, because it was the jazz scene in Montreal, especially during Prohibition in the United States.
Wow.
But people don't know.
Wow. All right. We got a ton of comments that have come in. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back from the break, we'll get to comments and then we'll get right in it because Wayne is going to drop some knowledge on how you can set yourself up financially for success in this new year. So we'll be back in about 90 seconds. Lots of people in the room already. Thank you so much. Shout out from where you are. And while Wayne's sharing, I'll try my best to respond back to you. So 90 seconds, hold tight.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harriet Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harriet Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the rappers get all the attention. Seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the just people that, don't always represent the best of us, the diversity, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
really
Vibe
should.
he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. A lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. Helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. And also Happy New Year to Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, their family, and all the people that they serve. Actually sent both of them a Happy New Year's video message, and they sent a video message back. So I was happy about that. And one of the wins from last year that we're going to carry into this year, one of the shows that I host and produce, it's on Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala, is now being distributed on one of Dr. Boyce's YouTube channels, the Fly Nubian Queen Network, which has 550,000 YouTube subscribers. So that is collaboration at its best. Had to get it down south. Hopefully it'll start coming here in Canada, but you know what? I can't wait. Got to do it wherever I can. So Ryan he's having some technical challenges. He'll be back with us, but Wayne is ready to rock and roll because he's got a lot of important things he wants to share with us today. So Wayne, you want to talk about setting ourselves up successfully for 2024 financially. And it's interesting. I was out yesterday at a store and they were saying, you should get this credit card. And I'm saying, I'm so happy that Wayne is coming on this show tomorrow. You can get cash back for your purchases here. And I said, Wayne must be behind me or something in regard to this. So, Wayne, let's have you rock and roll. There's lots of people in the room. Ask questions, family. He's here to serve you. And even more important, I'll be putting up his contact information periodically. I've also sent it to wherever you're watching this outside of Ryan's LinkedIn channel. You have his contact information, so there's no excuses. Wayne, the digital platform is yours. Go, my man.
Thank you, Doctor, and welcome back to the show. And for everyone who's coming in and tuning in, I appreciate you guys for 2023 for all the support, and I look forward to a massively successful 2024, because this year is not just going to be about concepts, but we're going to hopefully have the ability to do something I wanted to do last year but didn't have the cycles, is I like to do case studies. That means for any of you who are out there who want to have a free financial needs analysis from me, it's complimentary. Just use my information, book me for an hour. We'll go through your situation, and then we'll sanitize it, protect the innocent, and discuss those case studies on every show. So there'll be information, but it'll also be at least one or two case studies every week should I get them. I also have my own clients, so I can use their case studies as well. So we'll say, couple, husband 42, wife 40, 2 kids, 5 and 7 years old, mortgage is X, this is that, and talk about some of the solutions I do. No names, innocent, the numbers, no one will know it's them, so to speak. The privacy will be adhered to because we're professionals over here at Harris Marketing. So let's talk about things changing. So the more things change, the more things stay the same. Last year, towards the end of the year, interest rates were rising, and that's bad if you're borrowing money, but good if you're looking to make some money or protect your money. So the GIC, which is the go-to for people who don't understand finances, is a very safe investment. You can't lose money with a GIC, guaranteed investment certificate. Here's the problem. Sometimes you can't make money with a GIC. You can't lose money, but you can't make money. Why? Because if you're not beating the rate of inflation, you're not making any money. So if inflation is 3% and you make 3% on your money, 3 minus 3 is 0. Okay? So the GICs now that we see out there are paying 5.2. Some are paying as much as on a temporary basis, as much as 6%. And the rate of inflation is 3.5%. You're making 2.5% on your money. Well, a few months ago, I discussed something called the Rule of 72. The Rule of 72 simply states you take the number 72 and you divide it by your rate of return. It will tell you how long it's going to take your money to double. So let's just say, to keep the math easy, 72 divided by 2, because you're making 5% on your money and inflation's at 3%. That's a 2% gain. 72 divided by 2 is 36 years for your money to double. Okay. Now, some of you, black don't crack. So some of you look like you're 25 years old, but you're not 25 years old. And if you are willing to wait 36 years for your money to double, from $1 to become $2, you know what? It's going to be a long retirement for you. Okay. Now, think about your credit card. So we're talking about credit cards in the mall. Credit card has an average credit interest rate of 19.9 to 21.9, depending on the card. Let's make the math easy and make it 20%. 72 divided by 20 means your number is going to double against you in 3 years. It's going to double against you in 3 years. So you're going to take 36 years to make $1 to become $2, because you're saving money. Because getting by people to invest is different than saving. Saving is for emergencies. Investing is to have your money work as hard for you as you worked for it. It must beat inflation for it to be an investment. Okay, if people say, what's the difference between saving and investing? Investing must beat inflation and must beat taxes in order for you to win. Simplest way I can put it. So 3 years against you in a credit card, 36 years for you. That's how the banks win, because they're going to pay you 5% on your GIC, and they're going to charge you 20% on your credit card, which is 15% in their favor. 72 divided by 15, you see how the money runs in the bank's favor. Okay? So let's talk about debt. Canadians are very, very concerned about their debt levels. And debt is the one thing that's keeping people up at night. People went out and bought Teslas back when money was cheap. 1% finance rate, 2% finance rate, and that was all great. Not anymore. 4.9%, 5.9%, 6.9%. I've seen people with car loans at 26%.
How much? Hold on. How much?
26% interest on a car loan. Why? Because they did not care about the interest. They cared about the payment.
26. No, Wayne, you're playing me.
Listen,
you're playing me.
You're paying $125 weekly forever. And the car was already 8 years old when they bought it.
Right.
This is what's going on out there, Dr. Ryan. Listen, you're paying for the car 3 times before you ever pay for it, if you can ever pay for it. You will be sweeping that car up with a brush, with a broom and a dustpan, and you'll still be paying for it.
That's madness.
Cars depreciate 40% or more in 5 years. Highest depreciation, luxury brands. BMW, Benz, Range Rover. These things drop like a rock. Over 50%, some as high as 60%. Maserati, terrible. Range Rover, terrible. 50% depreciation in 4 years.
26%.
Brother, I'm telling you the truth. This is what I'm seeing out there. Because people are saying, how is it possible for me to get a car? Well, my credit's damaged. Well, you can get a car because there's going to be people out there who will offer you 26% interest to get that car, because what they're saying is, I'm going to front load my payment back to me because you're such a high risk. So Whereas one person will walk into the dealership and pay 0.9, 3. I'm not seeing 0.9 anymore. I'm seeing 3%, 4% money on borrowing a car if your credit is 700 points or higher. But if your credit is 500 points or lower, you're going to pay that 26%. Dr. Tachi has a 20-year-old Corolla. Can't beat it. Bulletproof. Brakes and oil changes. That's it. Maybe an alternator. Maybe something, one or two items. But it's really going to depend. If she has a car for 20 years, it's really going to depend on the miles she's put on the car. But Toyotas are pretty much bulletproof. But there's no sexiness in driving a Toyota. If a man pulls up in a Toyota,
right, he's not getting the next look.
Man's, right?
Jeez.
People start saying, "Hey, obviously, you're not a high value man if you're driving a Toyota." But last I checked, most of the richest people in the country drive very basic vehicles.
Yes.
Okay, 161,000 miles.
That's crazy. I just want to catch up. I'm going to be thinking about 26 all day now because I'm just going, my gosh. So let's catch up on comments. Fitness IQ likes the idea of road trip down to Washington. Shirley says, thank you for sharing your experiences, Wayne. I mentioned Dr. Tachi. There she is, Dr. Tachi, host and producer of the livest online show about media, tech, and pop culture. It's called Mediascope on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. on Instagram Live, and then 6 p.m. Eastern Time, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's on a little bit of a hiatus right now. It's coming back in February, but she did do a special interview. I can't remember the gentleman's name. One of the stars of, am I saying Hawaii 5-0? Hope I got that right. Dr. Tachi, correct me if I'm wrong. She did a very interesting interview with him the other day. Okay, Allison was asking what the names of the authors. I know Wayne gave the names of Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. Actually, I've been seeing there's a platform on Instagram that's been reposting some of his comments.
Yeah, he's become very fiery in his
Yes,
comments.
he's not playing. I think
change the style a little bit.
Yeah, I think he could be the heir apparent to Dr. Claude Anderson.
Yes,
okay. Absolutely. Eunice Graham, good morning. Yes, Phil Vassell from Word Magazine recently launched a digital Black Music Achievement Archive. I have spoken periodically with that, but Phil Vassell of Word Magazine, him and Donna, another great stalwarts. Yes, I got to reach out to him. Open Star says, good morning, all. Happy New Year. And I think we are, Caribbean Vibrations TV. It's Tony that's here, not Alan, but Tony's here. And she liked the intro. Thank you so much. I'll big up the young lady who did that. Dr. Tachi goes, sheesh, by what some of the stuff that Wayne is sharing with us. And, look at this. Mohammed from Sierra Leone, West Africa is in the house. Wonderful. Lovely. And actually, which is, okay, I will... Quick little story. I think I shared it with the other day with some people. We hear a number of our people going to Ghana, going to live in Ghana. Okay. Was listening to an interesting story on NPR. What the Ghanaian government is doing is they're kicking African landowners off their land that they've had for many, many years and selling it at very cheap rates to people like us who are wanting to live there permanently. I have a difficulty with that.
Yeah,
if it's true, Dr. Vibe. Yeah, understand this. Ghana had the year return about 4 years ago, and they're looking for foreign investment, and they're offering passports to anyone in the diaspora who wants a Ghanaian passport. Because if you want to travel through Africa with a Canadian passport, you need a lot of visas, much more visas than if you're a Ghanaian citizen and you can travel throughout the continent. So let's fact check that.
I will. Hey, it was on NPR. Listen to it, all the conversations there. I don't know. I was just really disappointed with that. Really disappointed because you're taking ancestral lands away from Africans to people like us. That's almost a form. If it's true, which, hey, I believe the report because the interviews are there. That's almost a form of white supremacy in a way.
Yeah.
You're taking these things away from ancestral people. Not good. It just in my thought. And Dr. Tachi says that's why I like my 20-year-old Toyota Corolla.
Yes, yes.
And she says she has 161,000 miles on it.
Whoa,
And it's still
that's like almost 300,000. No, 1.6. So close to
she's got
250.
she's got lots of miles to go on that.
Over 200,000 kilometers, which is
Frequency
amazing.
Event Promotions goes, yeah, we're buying an electric scooter tomorrow. Macmillan Group goes, automatic financing is the biggest financial plague affecting most Black folks. It is the primary obstacle to many getting a mortgage.
Oh,
wow.
That
is, and Ray would know that between Ray and
but you
Ray
see,
would know that
the long-term effects of taking.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I had a person who makes 135,000 combined with 2 jobs, which is pretty good money, but then went out and bought an $80,000 car.
Why?
Okay.
I went, why?
Yeah, yeah.
They went, well, it was a nice vehicle and whatnot. I said, it's a nice vehicle, but 4 years from now, it'll be as nice a vehicle for half price. Right?
Yep.
So people should be looking at 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 vehicles because they're half price and they're just as good.
Yes, yes.
Right? Let someone else eat the depreciation. And depreciation, for lack of a better definition, is loss in value of an asset over time. The longer you have it, the less it's worth. Listen, I have a camcorder from 1995. I bought that sucker for $400. Today, it's paperweight because it takes VHS tapes.
Yes,
right? It's huge, right? I have an SD card that can hold what's on that film and everybody else on my street with 1 gigabyte of memory.
Right.
And that camcorder today costs about $400, and it can hold 200 times the data.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So understand something called Moore's law. Moore's law is the technology is going to double in power or speed and drop in price every 18 months. So think about it, right? Think about technology as we went from LP to laser to CD to DVD to SD to streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. Over the last 30 years, right? Yeah. Man's had to break their back, had to wear a weight belt. If you were a DJ, you needed a weight belt 30 years ago. Crates of records. Today, you need a laptop and 1 crate for your 2 modified turntables.
Yes.
And a laptop.
Yep.
You say, where's the plug?
And
you're a DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ironic you said that. I was actually speaking with Jonathan Juiceman Shaw last night. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go, DJ. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. You correct me. Magnum PI. Can't remember the gentleman's name, Dr. Tachi, but if you can put in the comments, you had a great conversation with one of the stars of Magnum PI. Frequency. Yes, this is the older cars, Toyota, Honda, and others. Those engines are really built to last. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And okay. Also, she also says that the gentleman also started in the recent Color Purple.
Okay.
I was supposed to go see that.
Yeah, Pauline, greetings from Toronto. Greeting, Pauline again. Great information, fantastic. And Fitness IQ Cam says, yikes. And we're up to date, so continue on, Wayne.
Okay, so once you get your debt in order, and again, I have a number of credit repair and debt management solutions that do not include consumer proposals and do not include bankruptcy, which are the 2 big hits on your credit for 6 and 7 years. So we do not want to claim bankruptcy because it precludes you from a number of opportunities once you're in that bankruptcy and it hasn't been discharged. And maybe we can have a show specifically on that and how you can get out of bankruptcy and how you can get out of consumer proposals, because they're very different in terms of the difference between a consumer proposal and a bankruptcy. So maybe I'll do that in February for Black History Month. But I kind of want to do something more positive for Black History Month about looking at the positive rather than the negative, but maybe I can balance it off. We'll figure it out. The bottom line here is not all debt is bad. Debt that makes you money is good. So you buy a condo, it's debt, mortgage, but you put someone in the condo and they're paying you rent. Positive. There's more rent coming in than mortgage payment. That's not just mortgage payment, and this is Ray's lane. Principal, the interest on the principal, the taxes, and the maintenance. If your rent can't cover all four of those, you are buying too much condo.
Gotcha.
Now, if you want, because you're paying too much taxes, and you want to buy that condo because it's in a great building and great management, great location, and you are willing to take a little bit of a hit, $200, $300, $400, $500 a month in losses, because it's going to reduce your taxable income, because you're losing money, but you have the asset, and the asset's going to appreciate in equity, which means the value of the building that you bought or the unit you bought is going to go up in price. Then it might make sense to buy it and take a haircut for a couple of years. This is where Ray comes in, and he can say, this math makes sense. You're going to be upside down, money coming out of pocket for this thing for a few years, but the value of the condo is going to go from $600,000 to $1 million. That's $400,000 in found money for the cost of maybe a couple $100 a month, right? So we got to think about that, and Ray will help you with that math. This is his lane. So I'm not going to advocate that you buy a place and lose money, because this is what we're seeing over the last year, where people have variable rate mortgages or adjustable rate mortgages, and they're in these properties, and they bought it when rates were 2.25%, and now rates are 5%, 6%, and they are hemorrhaging money. Right. They were okay with losing 100 or 200, but not 1,000 or 2,000, because they have multiple units plus their own principal residence. So this is what we're seeing. Landlords, and again, I'm going to speak from an Ontario perspective, and Ray can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are living in a building that was built after 2018, the landlord can raise the rent to whatever they want. But if you have a building you live in some place that was built before 2018, then the landlord must follow the Landlord Tenant Bureau's rules of inflation, 2.5%, raise the rent, and no more than that. Otherwise, you can take them to court.
And is that what we're seeing with, because they can raise it, and we saw the interest rates go up, now that the landlord's mortgage has been increased, they're trying to match the rents to that? Like, is that what people...
Correct. They're trying to lose less money.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're saying to the tenant, hey, I made a mistake because I was greedy. Or I wasn't greedy. I was smart. At the time, if you had told me 3 years ago the interest rates were going to be 6%, I would say, what are you talking about?
Right.
Interest rates over the last 20 years have been, and Ray can talk about that, less than 4%, consistently. There was nothing on the horizon that said that this thing was going to go the way it went. Now, Ray would see it. He would see it before. So what we're seeing now is the echo of things that the government did in policy 6, 9, 12, 18 months ago. We're seeing the echo of that now.
Exactly.
So this is why you need to be working with professionals, because professionals are going to say, hey, this thing moved twice the wrong way. You might want to lock in. And someone's going to say, well, why would I lock in at 3.5%, 4% for 5 years when I'm getting at 2% now? I'm living like a baller in Oakville. And then Ray will say, you sure you want to make that decision? Right. I could be wrong. But if I'm not wrong, you're going to be paying double what you're paying now. Right. And they say, I'll take that risk because I don't think it's going to happen because of COVID, because then they give you all the reasons why they're not going to follow your advice. We take great client notes. We get them to sign it. We sit back and sip our tea and watch the magic happen. Right. And then they go, uh-oh, now we're at 6.5%, or I think it's 60% of all mortgages are coming due.
Yes.
In the next, in less than the next 2 years. So people are leaving 2% mortgages, 2.5% mortgages, 2.75% mortgages, and coming out into a 6% mortgage environment. Well, unless you can print your own money in the basement, you got to go find that extra 2-3 G's. Last I checked, employers aren't giving you those kind of raises. Because incomes have been flat since the 1990s. Since the Bob Ray days in Ontario, incomes have been flat.
Damn.
Okay, real income. But the cost of living has gone insane.
Yep.
We're not going to get into that because I know Ray will cover that when he does his conversation. But just safe to say, the higher the interest rates are, the less house you can qualify for.
Yeah. I
And the
just
less
want to
house you can
interrupt.
qualify. Go ahead.
Just want to interrupt. Just want to catch up on some quick comments, I'll let because you're on a roll as usual. For those, there's Wayne's contact information on the screen. I've also sent out on a number of platforms. Castro has a great comment saying, "My 2009 Honda Pilot has over 500,000 kilometers on it, and she is still going. We'll keep it until she dies. No need to fix what's not broken."
Damn, my Prius made it to 450,000.
There you go. There you go. Trevor. Okay, Trevor, I got your comment here somewhere. Trying to find it, but I'll eventually find it. But got a comment here. Wow, there's so many I got to keep up. Okay, let me go to this one. Daniel Dowdy says no question to ask. Just say this here to say hi to Wayne and wish you a very happy, healthy, and abundant 2024.
Thanks, Daniel.
And I had a there. Oh, okay. So Hayden goes, can anyone speak on the mentality behind buying an $80,000 car if you're not a multimillionaire? Wayne?
Sure. Let go of my ego. I think they sell them in the breakfast aisle at the grocery store. They're called egos. Let go of my egos. And what it is, again, values are changing in society. And you can watch all the different things from what Kevin Samuels was doing a couple of years ago, Andrew Tate is doing since he got released. You know, what even Cat Williams is talking about with Shannon and what's going on out there is that there has always been, maybe not always been, but since the ending of slavery and Jim Crow, there has been this need for people who look like us to show their wealth as opposed to be wealthy. Zuckerberg wears T-shirts. Bezos wears golf shirts with no logo. Bill Gates wears white shirts and dress pants, no logos. Yet we got to have Louis V, we got to have this, we got to have that, Gucci, big chains, and the whole 9 yards. We want to wear our wealth as a validation point. It's a psychosis that, I'm sure someone has tried to explain in the U.S., but we all get caught up in it. You know, I was a brand guy. Listen, you can't tell me to buy any other brand but Nike. Why? Because I bought Nike for 30, 40 years and everything I have, and we all know the rules of blackness. You can't wear Under Armour top and Nike pants, right? One brand, top to bottom, otherwise you're a waste youth, right?
Yes,
so when we have these so-called societal rules, it forces you into posing, fronting, whatever you want to use, whatever term you want to use, but it puts you in a position where you're more conscious of what other people think. It's what we call approval addiction. Steve Siebold is the author who kind of coined that phrase, where we're addicted to the approval of others. We live in certain neighborhoods because people will approve of where we live. We drive certain cars. You know, people got all kind of brands on their glasses, knowing that, you know, my glasses don't have any brand on it, but it's made by a company called Ray-Ban, and Ray-Ban's owned by Luxottica, and Luxottica has 80% of all glasses on the planet. You can't buy glasses unless they're from Luxottica. And they have every brand you could ever think of. I don't care if it's Gucci, Tom Ford, whatever. If you're buying glasses in a mall anywhere in the world, Luxottica is behind it. Very, very quietly. Right? Have a monopoly. And they bought Essilor, which was number 1 or 2 for lenses. So they got the lenses and the frames. Listen, these things cost $5 to make. It's a machine making them. But I had to pay because they are trifocal, distance at the top, computer in the middle, reading on the bottom. The lenses alone were $600. The lenses alone. People who wear glasses understand the pain.
Yes.
Right? For a real pair of glasses. And if you want to do anti-scratch, blue light, transition, anti-glare, ching, ching, ching. So I've paid over $1,200 for a pair of glasses.
That's heavy.
Knowing that they cost they cost less than $100.
Right.
But not because I'm trying to floss, but because that is what is going on out there. And then China has caused disintermediation where now I can get a pair of glasses with lenses shipped to my yard for less than $60. The true cost of the lenses.
Right. You know, I'm going to interrupt a number of things you're mentioning here, Wayne. I've mentioned this gentleman's name once in a while. Does anyone know a gentleman named Bernard Arnault? Wayne may know who he is.
No.
Okay. Bernard Arnault is the CEO of the Louis Vuitton brands.
All the brands.
And people, if you want a little education, go to their website and see how many brands are under that they have control over, and think, Black people buy that, Black people buy that, Black people buy that. And they say, and a lot of Black people who really can't afford buy that. We are making Bernard Arnault he is the richest man in the world. More than Elon Musk, more than Bill Gates, more than Jeff Bezos. That's one thing. Another thing, as Wayne was just mentioning, has anyone heard of a website called Temu? Temu.
Oh, yeah. The ads are getting crazy.
Their ads are getting crazy.
Yes.
They are based out of China, but they have an office in Boston. If you go on their website, it says their office is in Boston, but it's Chinese owned. And as Wayne said, there have been a very big disruptor to Amazon. Because as Wayne said, just in this example, what they do is you buy something from their site, it's made in China, and they ship it directly to you. Now, a lot of people, of course, you want your immediate gratification. I need like next day, prime. But a lot of the things that you get on Amazon, even if it's from a reseller, are made in China.
Yeah.
They're made in China. All Temu is saying, okay, well, if you're willing to wait 1 or 2 weeks, you can get it half the price that you are buying it on an Amazon site.
100%.
Temu, check it out, what they're doing. All the things that may have a different label or a different brand name, but it's the same thing, just with a different brand name. And I'll be honest, I actually tried them out. And the nice thing is you get, if it doesn't work out, you can ship it back to them, but it's based on you get 60 days, but it's based on the day that you ordered it. But usually things come within 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. I tried it out, legit. I just wanted to try out to see what it's all about. And they have taken the psychology of selling. You mentioned, Ryan, about, you see how they put all their ads and all that. They know, they've done the algorithm stuff, etc. They've mastered the sales psychology stuff on how people buy, and they almost think it's like a gaming site that they've made for retail.
Yeah. Whoa. What was it that you bought? What did you buy on Temu?
I bought a pair of shoes size, because I like Wayne and myself, we have rather large feet, and it's not easy to get an affordable pair of shoes for a cheap price. And I bought these shoes, fit perfectly.
Wow.
Fit perfectly. So, so as Wayne said, China has not only consumer wise, but manufacturing wise changed the game big time.
100%.
In regards to financial tips. So I just wanted to give those examples there. Sorry if I interrupted, but I thought just wanted to add value to the conversation there. There are ways, family, that you can reduce your living costs if you are thinking long-term and not immediate gratification.
Exactly. So in the interest of time, because we're at the top of the hour.
No, you can go on a little bit. Like there's piles of people watching, but go on, man. I know you got your time.
I've only got on point 1 of my 10. For 2024. So what I'm going to do, unlike last time where we get sidetracked, I'm going to pause you and Ryan, and I'm going to go through my 10, and people can pipe in.
Okay, no, Wayne. What I'm going to also do is, if you can, send them to me also, and I'll put it in our Discord group. So people who are members of our Discord group, they can get a digital version of your top 10. Go ahead. Sorry, if you could.
All right. So number 2. So we talked about debt, right? Good. Let's talk about maximizing contributions to tax advantage accounts. If you're in the States, take a look at your IRA, your Roth IRA. Okay, in Canada, look at your tax-free savings account, first-time homeowner savings account, and RRSPs. Depending on your income, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, all three buckets of cash are going to give you tax deferral or tax avoidance. They're tax-free. So talk to your financial advisor. If there were only one available to you every Friday, once a month on the first Friday that you could talk to, that could give you this information. I don't know where you can find them, but he might be available to you. And it might look like a Bajan with glasses. And as my sister says, Papa Smurf, because of my beard. All right. 2, stay informed about changes in tax laws and take advantage of available deductions. Like I said, as of April 1st of last year, the first-time homeowner savings account is available. Had you put any money into the account, even $100 in 2023, you would have had the 2023 full allocation of $8,000 plus 2024's $8,000, and every year going forward, you would get the 5 years for the $40,000 maximum. Create and stick to a budget for better expense management. When I get to the section of budgeting and I talk about subscriptions, like back in the day, there was, okay, well, maybe I had Amazon Prime. Well, now people have Amazon Prime, they have Netflix, they have Disney Plus, they have Google Drive, they have OneDrive, they have all kinds of different things that are nibbling on them, iCloud, $2, $3, $4 at a time, and it's coming up to $40, $50 a month in subscriptions that they didn't even think about, that their last advisor didn't even ask them about. Mm-hmm. But this is about $50 a month for most subscriptions for most people who are doing real things and real work. Because I have a backup piece of software. Why? Because I don't want to back up to a hard drive, because if my house catches fire or there's a flood, it's gone. It's backed up to the cloud, a secure cloud, and I pay for that every month, but I'm paying it through my business. Let's talk about prioritize debt repayment. So we talked about that a couple of months ago. There's a couple of ways to look at how you're going to attack your debt. You can look at the amount of debt you have. So if you have a $10,000 debt and a $2,000 debt, some people will say, focus on the $10,000 debt. I like victories. I like small wins. So if I have a $10,000 debt and I have a $2,000 debt, I'm going to go for the $2,000 debt because I'm going to get to end the job sooner and feel better about myself and then get to the $10,000 debt.
Gotcha.
Right? But there's other people who will say, look at the highest interest rate. So if you're paying 26% on a car, you want to get rid of that debt because it's working against you so fast. You want to get rid of that highest interest rate debt first. So when you do a financial needs analysis with me and with my team, we're going to look at all your debt, put it out on the page for you to see. I have one lady outside of her mortgage had $180,000 in debt outside of her mortgage. And still had a $600,000 mortgage. That's $780,000 worth of debt. She's in her 30s, bro. Right?
Wow. Yes.
Every credit card, because I'm looking not just at the amount of debt that you have, I'm looking at how much of that debt is towards your limit. Credit card companies are pretty clear. If you keep your balance less than 30% of your limit, your credit score will not move against you. But as soon as that number goes above 30%, then your credit score starts to drop. So if you have a $10,000 limit, you should not put more than $3,000 in that card. And you should pay that card on or before the statement due date. Right? Some people are saying pay it 15 days in and then pay another amount 3 days before the statement date, and your credit score will rise. So we can talk about that when we have our one-on-one consultations. Right. Build an emergency fund for unexpected results. I see people every day I see their tax-free savings accounts and the RSPs being tapped into just to survive.
Ooh, yes.
These accounts, TFSA, was not supposed to be tax-free savings account. It was supposed to be tax-free investment account, which means investment is long-term. You're not supposed to be touching your TFSA to go on vacation to Jamaica. The TFSA is for when you retire at 65 and it's supposed to keep you alive and financially viable until you meet your ancestors. The RSP, same thing. These are not accounts that you should be dipping into. But at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, I had a number of people on deck waiting for the year to change over. So because they had taken out their max in 2023, now they need to start attacking 2024. And they're using their long-term investment to satisfy their present day spend. You are robbing your future self of the ability to stay warm in winter and cool in summer by doing that. You're robbing your future self. So every decision you make today has to be in alignment with your future self. Ryan today is writing checks for Ryan 25 years in the future. Ryan 25 years in the future going to go, yay, what are you doing, bro? If you go and spend that money on Temu today, we're going to be eating dog food when we're 75 years old. Or we're going to be working security at Walmart or a greeter, handing people carts because we love people. No, you don't love people. You need the money or you won't survive. So you need to look at what you're doing today, the behaviors you're exhibiting today on all aspects of your life, not just finance. Look at what you're eating. Look at what you're doing for exercise. Look at what you're doing for your mental health. Look at what you're doing for your finances. Look at what you're doing for your household. You're writing checks today for your future self. And 25 years from now, when we have this conversation, knock on wood that we're all going to still be here. We're going to look back at this tape in whatever format it is and say, right, you remember when I said that on January 5th, 2023, 2024? You're like, man, because we're all old and gray and we're grandparents or maybe great-grandparents by then. We're going, yo, that was prophetic. What you said there was right on point. All right. Consider, now this sounds self-serving. Consider seeking professional advice for personalized financial planning. I beg of you, if you're in Canada, I've got you. I've got people in the States that can take care of you in the States. If you're in any other country, I can't help you. I'm only licensed for 6 provinces in Canada. Shout out to New Brunswick because I'm coming. My license is approved in New Brunswick, and I'm now going to go into New Brunswick as well. Nova Scotia's on deck because the fact that Toronto and Nova Scotia don't have a mindset collaboration doesn't make sense. And if there is one between Toronto and Nova Scotia where relationships are very, very strong, I'm happy to join into those conversations because I think we can learn a lot from the oldest Indigenous population.
Well, when you're ready to tackle Nova Scotia, I have a very good person for you to tap into there. Okay. So you tell me when that happens.
Perfect. Stay vigilant about your credit score and financial health. So we talked about that. Any score below 700, you need to have a conversation with me because Ray McMillan can work magic above 700 points. Ted Evans can work magic above 700 points in credit. Below 700, 680, still pretty good. But once you go below 680, it's going to be tough. Then explore government programs and incentives to optimize savings. This is where Ryan comes in. Ryan's a grant man. Right? I'm the grant man. Give you grants for your company.
That's gonna get clipped out. That'll be my guess.
Yo, he's a grant man, right? So there are programs there. Like again, the first time homeowner savings account is there. The RRSP is there. You can put $35,000 into RRSP for a first time buy. You can put $40,000 into a first time homeowner savings account. $8,000 a year at a time. In 5 years, you have $40,000 there, $35,000 from your RSP, plus whatever you have in your TFSA. Go get your house, right?
Gotcha.
We know the government of Canada is playing their game as it relates to housing, and there's development costs and a bunch of different things that they put in there to load up the contractor. And as you saw over the last number of weeks, new bills are being torched because the developers are upside down. They built those houses for X, costs are now Y, and now people want to pay X and they can't pay X because they're underwater, and the developers would rather have it burned to the ground than sell it for below what they're going to get.
Yeah.
And as you know, arson is illegal, so I don't know how they're going to burn these places to the ground, expect insurance to pay. Insurance is going to say, listen, we have the guys on tape with the jerry cans of gas. Yeah. We see you, right? So I don't know how these guys are going to get their money back. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. But I want people to start thinking about looking at what Ryan is doing for businesses and what he's doing to find buckets of money that sometimes remain unclaimed because people don't know, A, the buckets are there, or B, don't know how to fill out the paperwork to get access to the bucket. And Ryan solves for both with ACBN. And then lastly, regularly review and adjust financial goals based on life changes. Interest rates were very high, and therefore GICs and GIAs, guaranteed investment accounts, were paying out very good interest, 5% and more. Things are going to change in the first and second quarter of this year, and it's going to come back down. And when
not
that
to
happens,
where not to where it was before, though.
not to where it was before, but it's going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So those of you who have been making money risk-free, 5% or more, need to now revisit your strategy for the rest of 2024, because the markets have responded very favorably in the last 12 months. People are making money again in the market. So those people who jumped out because they lost money and went for the safety, they're not going to make their money back for a while. Those people who stayed in and let it go, because listen, I'm in my 50s. I don't need the money that I have in my long-term savings for another 11 years. No, 9 years. I don't need it for another 9 years. So if it goes up and down over the last couple of weeks, I don't care. I don't need it for 9 years. What's your time horizon? When are you going to need the money? And then based on when you're going to need the money, then you determine your risk tolerance. So we do both. I have a questionnaire that I walk you through, because if I give it to you and send it to you, you have a tendency to lie to yourself. But if I sit down with you and go question by question and explain the answers, and then you respond, then you're going to have a true understanding of your financial position, a true understanding of what your risk tolerance are. And then I'll show you what's available at your risk tolerance. Most people who look like us have a very low risk tolerance. And the reason is because they don't understand. They're confused. When you're confused, you drive into a city and you don't know where you're going. You don't speed up. You slow down.
Exactly.
Same thing with finances. Because people don't understand it, I'm just going to put it in the bank. I'm just going to do Susu Patna meeting because I don't understand it. How about we help you understand it, and then you choose your risk tolerance and your time horizon with full information. We won't stop talking until you fully understand what I'm saying. And once you understand that, then I will ask you the questions. 9 out of 10 times their answers change because now they understand what it was I was asking.
Makes sense.
So,
Just want to add some things here. I think everyone we're watching this live, and one of the things that I would also suggest that Wayne has said, do you have a will?
Ooh. Why you gotta do them like that?
No, because you know I got your back. And do you have a living will?
gotcha.
That's another thing that on. But Wayne's gonna include all that stuff in his list that we're put on Discord. So that's the reason why you should join our Discord group, because you may watch it here, but you could go to a place where you could read it and also get his contact information with all that stuff. I think also too, I fully endorse what Wayne's saying. Watch your credit. Like, hey, I'm subscribed to Credit Karma. Anytime my score changes, it updates it, and actually updates my credit score every 20 something days. So I know all I need to know what my credit score is a click. Just log in the site, it shows you what my credit score is.
Yep.
And they also provide sometimes some really good offers on things through their site. So just a suggestion, see Wayne. Also keep a monitor. Many people who look like us either don't know what a credit rating is, don't care what a credit rating is, or don't understand what a credit rating is. And those three numbers are critical to your existence.
They dictate big chunks of your life. Like
Not only because I've come to the point now, this is just me, but I think the biggest challenge for many people like us is not racism, it's financial. Because if you have money, you call your shots. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, there's something called FU money. And when you get to FU money, that means no boss has control of you. When I hit FU money about 7 years ago, they thought they're going to hold back promotions, they're going to hold back raises. I said, how do you hold back a job? Deuces. I'm out. Right? And I haven't looked back, and I can't go back.
Right.
What I'm going to say to you, estate planning is not complicated, especially for people who have less than $1 million in net worth. Okay, that means you got $1 million house, but you got an $800,000 mortgage. You don't have $1 million.
No.
You have $200,000.
Yeah.
Right, in equity. So you're less than $1 million. If you have less than $1 million, I can help you.
There you go.
Living will, power of attorney. There are people on here who have gone through the process with me. You can ask if you're on here still. Please comment and let them know how difficult or how easy it was. It's pretty straightforward. Will takes about an hour. Power of attorney for property and finance takes about 20 minutes. Power of attorney for health takes about 20 minutes.
Okay.
But these documents, once printed, PDF, take them to a notary and get the notary to make sure it's added to the will search. So when someone searches for the will anywhere in this country, they will find it. And then when you have the will and the death certificate, all things unlock.
Absolutely.
So you can go take care of business.
Just want to add some things. One of your number one fans, again, abundant blessings. So in 2024, Heather Harris says, good morning. Some other things. Allison says it's also connected to our self-worth. Yes. Heather says keyword is quietly. The wealthy are not trying to be loud. Oh, that's a Harris. That's something a Harris would say.
100%.
It's true. The wealth, they don't flash their stuff around. They just do their thing. Trevor Dunlop says, yep. Heather, thank you. Bernard Arnault is Selma Hayek's husband. Not too much money in that family, you think?
Yeah, she married up.
Yeah, there you go. Dr. Chai says, I'm addicted to Timu. Yeah, Leslie McEwen from Ottawa. Thank you. Timu Shen, exactly. Frequency Event Promotion says, great show. Also wishes Wayne Harris all the best this year.
Thank you.
MN says, happy holiday. Yes, Ryan is amazing. All about the Grant Man, LOL.
Thanks.
And you answered this question for Dr. Taji, but I think it's good for everyone because we have a global audience. She asks, is the credit rating system just in the US and Canada?
Nope. Every country has its own. If you have a bank there, you're going to have a credit system. And central banks, as we know, are central to the economies of all Western economies. So Eastern countries, I don't know. But in Western economies that have central banks, you're going to have a credit rating system.
Absolutely. Wayne, you hit it out of the park as usual, my brother.
Thank you, gentlemen. I tell you, 2024, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing in 2023 and 2024 and expecting different results. The market has changed.
Yes, it always changes.
Yeah, Ray, the only constant is change. Ray's going to tell you about how things are changing from a real estate market. We're watching prices drop as much as 25%. So sellers are saying, listen, if I'm going to take a 25% haircut, I'm not going to sell. They sold fewer houses last year than any time in the last 23 years.
Wow.
Fewer houses last year in Canada than any time in the last 23 years. So what does that say? It means people who don't have to sell are not selling.
They're not selling.
People who have to sell are not getting their price.
Yep.
Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to be cash and credit ready when opportunities like this happen once every 23 years. But it happens more often than that. The last time it happened was 2008, 2009. Last time before that, it was Y2K. Last time before that, it was 1990 when interest rates were 18% in Canada and they dropped to 7 or 8% back in 1990, 1991. And people were like, 9% is a great rate. People are crying today about 7. It was 18%.
Yes.
Ray will tell you.
I remember those days too.
That's
right? People buying houses on Visa.
Yep.
Right? When you think about it. So
yep.
True.
So everything, knowledge is king, context is queen. Make sure you have a royal court in 2024. I'm going to give you the knowledge. And then when you give me your numbers, I will have the context for you. And I'll be able to put together, I'm going to use a big fancy word, bespoke, customized solution for you and just for you. There's no cookie cutter and there's no McDonaldization of my services. Everyone gets what they need at this particular junction, and then we review every year. So if you never had a client review with me and you're my client, reach out, because I'm going to be reaching out in the next couple of weeks to have a client review to see what's changed. People have had kids since the last time I saw them. People have bought houses. People have sold houses. People have been born. People have died since I last saw them. As those changes happen, we need to make adjustments in your plan to move forward. Maybe you had a great job before, now you're unemployed. Maybe you were unemployed, now you have a great job. Things change. So let's have that conversation and do that review. It takes about 60 minutes if you have your numbers together. If you don't have your numbers together, this is what you need to bring to the table. Bring all your insurance policies. Which company is it with? What's the premium? What's the death benefit? How long you had it? Bring that to the table. If you have bank accounts, bring those statements to the table. You have investments, bring those statements to the table. You're paying money for a car, bring those numbers to the table, because we need to know how much value is still in the car. Because there are people who are leasing cars. Another thing you can do. You lease a car. I want a new car, Wayne. I want a new car smell. I want to lease a car. Great. So you lease a car, right? When the car lease is over, you should never lease a car for more than 4 years. 3 is actually better. If you can't afford the payment at 3 years, you should not be leasing the car. It's an indication you shouldn't be buying the car. If you can't afford the payments at a 4-year payment, you should not be buying the car. When you see 84-month payments, 72-month payments, you know these are people who should not be driving those cars. Yes. And the dealerships know that. Mm-hmm. And that's why they say only $150 bi-weekly, only $200 bi-weekly.
Yeah.
For 9 years, bro? What are you driving? Listen, we're going to do the math on what the car is worth if you're on lease. So at the end of the lease, we're going to look at what those cars are worth 4 years later. If the car is worth more than what you're going to hand it back for at the end of the lease, be prepared to buy the car. Because if you buy the car, you can drive it for a year and still sell it for more than it's worth on the street.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yes.
But we got to make those money moves. Yeah. 2024 is about making money moves. And if you're not where you want to be and you don't know where to go, I got you. If you are where you want to be, I would love to talk to you to see what you did so I can take what you did and help other people. We have to stop. There are no have-tos in life. What I would appreciate is where Dr. Vibe and I met in a little program created by Ebony Rowe.
Yep.
Each One Teach One.
And Andrea Bryan.
And Andrea Bryan.
Yes, can't forget too.
Ladies.
Yes.
And rest in peace to Dr. Richard Eiton.
Yes.
Who was also the reason I was a member of it.
Yeah.
I want to say that each one teach one, and this is why this show and this platform is so important, because every time Dr. Vibe comes on here, you learn about someone or something that can add value to your life. All you need to do is take action. In the end, the information is entertaining, and we do it in a great format, and we vibe with each other, and it's awesome. But at some point, you have to believe enough in yourself to take action for the betterment of yourself and for your family. And that's the only reason I do this, because I know someone is listening, and they're going to do something with it. So with that,
make a decision and take action. I'm going to add 2 real quick things. First of all, we'll get to comments at the end. There is something called financial trauma, and many people who look like us have that financial trauma, and it's impactful. Again, I'm going to deter to Dr. Alicia Watkins in the U.S. She has a course on financial trauma because, again, it's impacting so many people's lives who look like us and don't look like us. Dr. Boyce Watkins has the word POOR, P-O-O-R. He has an acronym, passing over opportunities repeatedly.
Wow.
I love that acronym for POOR, passing over opportunities repeatedly. So that's why I put Wayne's contact information at the bottom. And also the last thing, pay attention to the stock market. Why? Because the stock market forecasts not in the present. It forecasts what's going to happen in the future. So stock market's been going up the last few months because they're forecasting what's happening. So what's happening, what Wayne is talking about, what's going to be happening to the consumers, in the future, stock market already has that, knows that. They know that's going on in the next few months. So even if you're not invested, pay attention to what's going on in the stock market. Go to a financial advisor. If it's not Wayne, he ain't for everybody, but go to someone who knows their stuff. And if you go to someone who's a financial advisor, ask them, can I get references?
Yeah, that's big.
Can I get references? Ryan, any last words? Or Wayne, do you have any last words before you sign off?
No, I'm just excited for another chance to become the best person I can be for myself, for my wife, for my kids, my family, my community. And not everybody made it out of 2023. So the fact that we're all here and we have yet another chance to level up, I implore each of you to read daily, meditate daily, write down your goals, and then find a group of people that you can be accountable to and have them hold you accountable on a weekly basis. That's 52 level ups a year, right? Not one New Year's resolution. 52 chances for you to close the gap if you have accountability with people who are at your level or above. And you'll win. It's pretty simple.
Absolutely. Some final comments. Dr. Tachi says, thank you, Wayne. MN says, amazing show and very insightful. Thank you, gentlemen. Eunice says, I've never paid interest on my credit card. How many people can say that? Never paid the minimum, always pay off the balance. That, if you want to screen something, family, you should screen capture that. On top of Wayne's contact information, that says something right there. And that tells me that, Eunice, if you don't, I bet you your credit rating is sky high.
Yes.
Right? And financially, you have something, as Wayne mentioned before, you have leverage. You have piles of leverage. So this is good. Allison Williams says, thank you. Very helpful. Well, again, if it's helpful, people, take action and make a decision. And I like Hayden says, by the way, using someone other than Wayne after listening to him is just not smart.
Shout out to Hayden. He's a good man.
Right.
Hayden, love that. Like there's a testimonial right there. There's a testimonial. Well, look, family, there's his contact information. We are blessed. And this is probably one of the highest live view conversations that Wayne has held on our platform. Wonder why. So people, make a decision, take action. You get 1 hour of Wayne's time. He ain't gonna, if you don't do it, I wonder why. That's all I got to say. I wonder why. That's just me. Mr. Harris, looking forward to chatting. I'm going to be chatting with you sooner rather than later. There's some things I need to chat with you about. And as Wayne says in the comments, have a great month also. Wayne, anything coming up that you're doing that we should know about?
No, Black History Month is coming up next month, so I'm going to be out and about doing my thing. But I want to implore everyone to form what we call a weekly accountability meeting. Pick 2 or 3 people. This call is going to last 15 minutes. You get on to Zoom, get on to a phone call, a 3-way call, a WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever you want to do, and pick the same 3 people every week and say, this is what I want to do this week. For the first call, this is what I want to do. Great. Everybody's going to tell you what they're going to do. 1 week later, get back together. What'd you do? This is what I said I was going to do. This is what I did. This is the gap. What are you going to do next week? This is what I'm going to do next week. Off they go. Every week. Do it for 12 weeks. And then check the tail of the tape at the end of those 12 weeks. By the end of March, you will have accomplished so many things because you're getting input and insights from people who are at your level and above, and everybody's on the same page to win. This is not about judgment. This is about closing gaps and blind spots that you would not see. I've been doing this for a little while now. The results are very clear.
You know, I'll just add on to that. Last year, I had someone way ahead of me. About a year and a half ago, they reached out to me and say, hey, Dr. Vibe, myself and my wife, we've been accountability partners each year, and we want to try something different. I said, okay, why are you talking? He says, would you be my accountability partner? I'm going, what? And I said, okay. And let me tell you something. It's one thing to make a goal, but when you have an accountability partner, research shows it. You hit those, and you got, and like these meetings we had every week, he was asking me advice. This gentleman's won 2 Emmy Awards, right? And here's him. So just think about it. Not only what you're going to get them, but what they're giving you. The knowledge, the building, the esteem goes next level. So fully agree with what Wayne says. So, hey, if anyone wants an accountability partner, I'll be willing to put myself out there, but be ready. I don't got time to play.
Right. Yes.
I am time to play. That's all right.
Time
Wayne
is not money. Time is life.
Yeah, exactly. And your health is your wealth too. So that's why on Monday we have Carolyn Nicole showing up. But that's another conversation. Wayne, all the best to you, Angie, and your wonderful family. Be well, keep the faith. Remember to give yourself grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy.
Thanks, gents. See you soon.
Take care. Peace. All right. That was phenomenal.
As always. Hey,
well, you're part of it, man. You're part of it.
Yes.
So what's coming up for you?
Yeah, the weekend looks quiet. I'm not hearing about many galas happening, so I'm gonna just for a bit.
You got to tell us. And by the way, especially for our Canadian audience, Wayne has texted me these tips, so I'm going to be putting them in the Discord group today. I got to ask Wayne how much of these are applicable for the American audience, but especially for the Canadian audience. Those tips will be in today. So it's a quiet week. Yeah, but Monday, the rat race starts all over again. Oh, one other thing I want to add. Ryan is the grant king. Now people are coming to me saying I'm the sponsorship king.
Nice. Yes.
So that's a whole other conversation. And I said, nothing wrong with grants, but too many people think they're going to use their grants to run their business.
Right.
And I think maybe, you know what, Ryan, I think we may need to do it sooner. They have you come on and talk about grants from Black Canadian perspective.
Hey, happy to. Talk about sponsorship.
Yeah, grants and sponsorship, because we may have some space this month to talk about, because I know Michael Couteau has reached out to you, maybe wanting to be on the show
for January 18th. So
okay, all right, I'll make sure.
Yeah,
but that's a Thursday.
Is it a Thursday? 15th. Sorry, what am I saying?
15th. All right, but so I think Ryan and I may be able to talk a little bit about grants and sponsorships, because more people and organizations, well, they're always coming out to Ryan about the grant thing, and I have a little bit of experience about sponsorships because I am part of a global sponsorship and 2 local sponsorships, so maybe able to do a little bit of a little session on that. So before we go any further,
and our team wants to thank you for the support with our sponsorship journey.
It ain't stopped yet. We're just starting, man.
Just started.
Just start with that. Wayne says yes. There was Leonidas. Their grant is Grantanidas. Okay, Grantanidas. Leonidas. All right. Dr. Tachi says Gala King rocks.
Right.
So that is it. And as always, you can catch replays of this epic conversation on the Morning Vibe on YouTube, Facebook, also the Afro Caribbean Business Network on Facebook and YouTube, Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube and LinkedIn. And I promised I would do this. These are all the ways you can get a hold of Ryan: website, Instagram, email, LinkedIn. Told you I'd say I put it on.
And so if you're looking for what funding and those grants that Dr. Vibe was talking about, RyanOneilKnight.com. We have a spreadsheet that we put a lot of the grants that we find into it, and we keep it updated. And also we do our grant info sessions once a month. So
you know what? Thank you for telling me about that, because I have a group. I'm going to put that, if I have your permission, in our Morning Vibe group.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. This is great. So anything else? You can get a hold of me at these places: the Dr. Vibe Show website, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the Dr. Vibe Show, and also X at drvibeshow.com. One other thing for people who are still on here: would anyone be interested to have someone come on to talk about trademarks?
Okay.
So I'll put that in the Morning Vibe group. I have one or two people who have expertise in trademarks, and people say, wow, it's really difficult. It isn't really if you have the right people, but also trademarks is part of branding.
Okay.
And it helps, it gives you some notoriety. If you're actually trademarked, you go, oh wow. It's just like when I was starting my business, I spoke to a lawyer and I said, should I be provincially or federally incorporated? He says, well, who do you do business with? He says, okay, you better. And I said, like, why should I go federally? He says, well, a lot of times it looks very good with the companies that you're dealing with, that you are federally incorporated. It gives your business or your brand a very good image.
Yeah, and I noticed when you do the federal incorporation, you still register provincially, so you get both. So, and it's actually cheaper to do it federally. So,
Yes, it is.
I don't know how that works. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Heather Harris is saying yes about this conversation about grants and sponsorship. Yes, definitely. And Wade Harris says that Leonidas from the
300.
movie 300. All right. All right. So, family, absolute pleasure having. We are back, and we're back on Monday with Carolyn talking about detoxing and also how some tips on how you can do it from home. But I'm going to just encourage people also, check out Energy Shack Juice Bar. They got lots of specials going on in regards to detox. I'm going to be doing another one this month because I gained a little poundage over the holiday season.
No judgment here.
All right. So as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger, block assumptions, and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. If you're following the Dr. Vibe Show, prime time Saturday, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. new time, 7 p.m. on wherever you're watching it now, except Ryan's LinkedIn channel, and also Dr. Boyce Watkins' Fly Nubian Queen YouTube channel with 550,000 subscribers, YouTube subscribers. We have content going on there, and I'm going for more. God bless. Peace, well. Keep the faith and walk good.